Hi everyone. Let's give it a while. I will start promptly at 11 a.m. Okay, hello everyone. We have a minute till 11, right? We just want to remind you guys that if you have any questions, you can leave it in the chat, right? Or if you wish to use the Zoom's Q&A function, you can do that as well, right? I will answer them, and we also have someone else from the AGS team able to answer your questions, right? We'll just wait a little bit more. Okay, so it's 11 a.m. Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of Introduction to Selling on Amazon webinar series. If you have attended our part 1 series, then you should know who I am now. I'm Jess from the Amazon Global Selling team. Okay, you will see my name in some of your emails like this, right? I know I don't always turn on my video for calls, but you get to see my face in your webinars. All right, so my sharing today is more of a continuation of my part 1 series. Last week, I covered product selections, right, where I shared about the 5 category ideas to get inspiration on what to sell on Amazon. I've also covered the account registration process, where I explain more in depth about the SIV process. I also covered ways you can create listings, right, apply for category approval, and also apply for a GTIN exemption. Okay, so if you have a private labeler or if you're a handmade product seller, right, then that applies to you, right? If any of these topics interest you at all, right, you can scan the QR code on the right side of the screen to watch the recording for the part 1 video. Right, so today I'll be covering these few topics before I hand over my time to Barry from WorldFirst, right? There's a lot to cover for this third part here, and I only have 20 minutes, so I might cover getting started with ABR and FBA in our part 3 instead. We'll see how it goes. All right, so let's get started. I know I've already explained the 50-day plan last week, but for newcomers to this series, let me explain this a little. Okay, so the 50 plan guide, right, is a roadmap that we recommend all new sellers to follow through in order to launch successfully on Amazon.com. Okay, so I'll be sending you a follow-up email after this webinar containing this 50-day plan guide, which will have all the links that you see here, like for example, the link to Seller University, right, or the link to FBA guide, right? So don't worry about it. Okay, so last week, I've covered what is Seller University and how to access it. But today I want to talk about how you can get account management support. All right, so for all new sellers that registered for an Amazon.com selling account this year, 2022, you'll be eligible for a 90-day account management support from our team. Okay, so the reason why it's for 90 days is because according to our internal team's observation and analysis, the first 90 days is the most important to get you ramped up, right, for your selling on Amazon.com. And subsequently, it very much depends on you whether you do your homework, right? Like for example, attending webinars like this, attending Ask Me Anything sessions with our account managers, and also going through your Seller University materials. Right, so let's say you have just successfully registered for an Amazon.com selling account and you got Seller Central access. Please do look out for emails that may have a title that says something like account management support, respond in 3 days. Okay, obviously, it may be different depending on the account manager that you're assigned to. But if you see this, please reply to the email by answering these questions, right? So that the account managers are better able to tailor their help to you. Okay, so sometimes you may see that you have some issues during or after your account got registered, right? You may see an alert that says something like your account was deactivated even before you start selling, right? So today I want to talk a little bit more about why you're seeing this alert and what you can do about it. Okay, so I've covered the account registration process last week, and I focused on the SIV process, which is the seller identification verification process. Okay, but today I want to focus more on the seller performance review, which is what we call SPR for short. Okay, but before that, I want to remind everyone who have yet to register for their account, or let's say if you're facing some issues with the SIV or SPR submission, to download this account registration guide, right? Because it gives you the step-by-step information for you to complete the account registration successfully. And also because every step in the registration process is irreversible, right? You should make sure that whatever information you keyed in during the account registration itself is correct, right? In every step is correct, right? If you happen to key in the wrong information, so let's say if you key in your first name and last name wrong, or you key in your billing address wrong, right? Then you have to restart your registration with a different email address. Okay, so please do scan the QR code or use the link provided to download the account registration guide. Right, so why do you need to go through SPR? Okay, so if you recently tried to reactivate a dormant Amazon selling account, so let's say you have created one all the way back in 2019 and you only want to start selling it now, then you might need to go through SPR. Okay, or let's say if you have previously downgraded your selling plan to the individual selling plan and now you want to re-upgrade it back to professional selling plan, then again SPR. Or let's say if you change your address or your bank account details on the Seller Central page after you've gotten access to it, then SPR, right? So these reasons are not exhaustible, right? Although they are the more common ones, right? There's actually an internal system that uses machine learning to detect if there's any irregularities in the seller behavior, and they will trigger these sellers for SPR accordingly, right? All these measures are actually put in place to protect sellers like yourself, right? To make sure that your selling account and your business is safe on Amazon. Okay, so how do you know if you're triggered for SPR? If you see this alert on your Seller Central page, right? Or if you go to your performance notifications and you see a notice saying something like your Amazon selling account has been deactivated, okay, it's very likely that you are triggered for SPR. Okay, so for those who do not know what is performance notifications and you do not know where to find them, you can go to your Seller Central homepage, then click into the performance tab, right? Then click into performance notifications. You will see a page like this, and here you can read all the notifications from Amazon, right? So if there's any alerts that require attention, right, I do strongly suggest you to check your performance notifications first before taking any actions like submitting the documents, right? Because these notifications do inform you about what documents you have to submit, right, if you need lah. Right, so let's say if I click into a recent notification here, you see a message like this, right, where there will be instructions given for you to reactivate your account. Okay, so for SPR cases, they will ask you to produce a recent utility bill, or if you're registered as a business, then they'll ask you for your business license. Okay, I would say that if you have failed for your SPR appeal, it is very likely that the utility bill that you've submitted did not meet the requirements. Right, so firstly, the name and address on the utility bill must match exactly the same as the one that you provided during account registration. Okay, so I understand some of you may be asking like, oh, what if I live with my parents, right? And the utility bill is under my parents' name, right? And the house is theirs, right? I'll explain a little bit more about this in my next slide. Okay, next, your utility bill must be one of these following, right? Water, electricity, gas, telephone, telco. This is recently accepted, right? Last time it isn't, as well as as well as your internet bill, right? And as of any Amazon submissions, right? Document submissions, make sure that they are in one of these few languages. If they are not, right? Let's say if you're from Malaysia and your utility bill happens to be in Bahasa Melayu, please translate and notarize it, right? There's actually a list of notarization providers given in the account registration guide. So if you require it, please go download the account registration guide and notarize accordingly. Okay, make sure that it's recent, right? It must be issued within the past 90 days, which is around 3 months, right? And submit all pages of the utility bill. So let's say if you have downloaded it or if you received the utility bill in 10 pages, please submit all 10 pages and you should have your name and address clearly visible. Okay, and make sure that it's colored and scanned, high quality and unobstructed, right? It shouldn't be a screenshot or cropped. Right. So just now I've mentioned, right? So let's say if your utility bill is under, let's say your dad's name. Okay, so in this case, you have to submit your dad's passport details, right? And you have to submit your birth certificate as well. So the idea is that you need to submit the passport of the owner of the utility bill, right? So let's say the utility bill is under your spouse's name. You have to submit your spouse's passport details and also a document to prove your relationship with the utility bill owner. So let's say you want to prove your relationship with your spouse, which is the owner of the utility bill. You have to submit a marriage certificate. Right. So what to avoid, right? If you want a successful review, please do not repeatedly submit documents, right? Especially wrong ones, right? Before we even have time to appeal, to review your appeal. Okay, give us 5 business days, yeah? Okay, and do not submit documents that are incomplete, right, wrong, or taken as a screenshot or cropped, right? And don't submit anything that's outdated to us as well. Okay, so let's say if you still have any problems with your SPR account, right, please do reach out to me, right? You can use this link to reach out to me or scan this QR code. Alternatively, you can look out for emails like this, right, and book a session with me accordingly. Okay, please, if you are facing SPR problems, please do not just create a new selling account, right? That doesn't work. You will only get flagged for related accounts issue, and by then you get quite complicated because you have to close accounts and the process is will take a long time. And that's not what we want. All right, so let's move on to listing optimization. Right, so why is listing optimization important, right? When you have an active listing, right, which we have covered previously, it is not guaranteed that your product will immediately start bringing in this amount of sales that you want, right? Because in the big platform like Amazon, obviously you have competitors, right? So in a 2:1 USA consumer study, 70% of users actually stick to only the first page of search results. I'm pretty sure you and me, if you shop online, we're all the same, right? We look through maybe maximum 2 or 3 pages more. We look at the reviews, we look at the ratings, then we will make the purchase. Yeah, so that's why listing optimization is so important because it helps you to target the correct consumer base, right? Improve your product visibility, as well as induce your potential customers to make the purchase, right? Or in other words, increase the conversion rate. Okay, so there are actually a lot of ways for you to optimize your listings, but today I will cover the lower hanging fruits first, or the basics lah. Okay, so today I will cover how to make a quality product detail page, how to make comprehensive keywords and search terms, the do's and don'ts, how to win the buy box, as well as registering your brand so they can get access to exclusive tools, right? A+ content, enhanced brand content, and Vine, which is essentially a customer review program that enables Amazon selling partners to put their products in the hands of Amazon reviewers. All right, so before I even talk about the 4 ways you can improve your listings, I want to talk a little bit more about the improved listing quality function on Seller Central. Okay, so Amazon provides listing improvement recommendations to sellers, right, where you can identify and fix listing issues affecting discoverability, detailed page experience, as well as customer returns. Okay, so if you want to access this tool, you click into the inventory tab, then click into improve listing quality. Right, you will see a page like this, right, where Amazon will flag out product listings that has search suppression, which essentially means that you cannot find your products on the Amazon.com platform, right, or require attention to review listing accuracy. I personally think that the suggestions given by Amazon are more basic, right, and I would say that the suggestions are the bare minimum for you to even get your listing out there. Okay, you can definitely do more to improve your listings on your own. All right, so let me start with the first one, making a quality product detail page. So this is a product detail page. It's the first thing a buyer will see once they click into your product in the search page. So first, let's talk about the product title. Okay, your title shouldn't be too long because you only have a moment to catch your buyer's eyes, right? The suggested length is around 60 characters because any longer probably means that your title has redundant words lah. Okay, so next, your product should also echo what will be on the physical packaging of the product. So for example, let's say your product packaging says Echo 4th generation, right? Then this should also be included in your title. Yeah. You should also include top keywords in your title because that's what the buyer sees alongside the image, right? So for example, in this case, let's say your top keywords happen to be smart home hub and Alexa, right? So you should include both of these in the title. And lastly, your title shouldn't have any subjective phrases like top selling or best quality, right? Because shoppers actually rarely search for them in the search terms. Shoppers are actually quite smart, right? Just because you say it's best quality doesn't mean they perceive the same, right? They need to see other things like the pictures, right? Descriptions, your reviews before they even decide, right? Next, your photos, right? They are very important because they actually take up a big part of the product detail page, right? You should have a photo that's only white, right? The background should be only white, right? And the product should fill around 85% of the frame you see here in the second one. Okay, you should also check the image size requirements because for the zoom feature to work, the zoom feature is like when you move your cursor towards the photo will zoom in, right? Because that helps to, in order for your image to even have that zoom feature, your image needs to be of a sufficient size. Okay, and lastly, do include some infographic images like the one you see on the screen here, right? Because they provide a chance to sell the product's features and benefits. Right, so the photo you see here, right, tells you that Echo does not only play music, but it also functions as a timer and an intercom, right? And lastly, the feature bullet points, right? So your bullet points here should be kept under 1,000 words because again, anything more than that probably means there's some redundancy, okay? And you should also include the key features and the benefits in the section, right? And if your child ASIN, right, which is the second one here you see, right? This is an example of a child ASIN, right? If it features, if it has different benefits and features, right, you can list them out under the individual child ASINs. Right. The next one I want to talk about is using comprehensive keywords and search terms to optimize your listings. So what is a search term, right? So let me give you an example. So let's say this is the product that you're selling. And let's say we have a buyer who wants to buy Amazon devices, right? And he keys in the word Amazon devices into the search bar, right? If you have already included Amazon devices in your search terms, then your product will show up in the search results, right? The buyer will thus be able to have a chance to see and click into your product listing, which will increase the traffic to your product. Okay, to add keyword search terms into your listing, go into the inventory tab, right, and click into manage inventory. Click edit next to the product that you want to add or edit the keywords from. You should see a page like this, right? Then you can navigate to the keywords tab, right? Then you can just enter your search terms here. Right, so here are some best practices for you when you are crafting out your search terms. As there is actually a length limit for you to write down your search terms. Make sure that you stay under the length limit, right? And the others here are actually pretty self-explanatory, so I won't cover them in detail. And please do take note that, for example, if your product has multiple spelling variations, I see this very commonly. So let's say if it's a US and UK spelling, you don't you can include them, but you don't need for misspellings, right? Like for example, one missing S or two S's, you don't need that. Right, and here are some don'ts when you're doing up your search terms, right? So for example, don't include your brand or other brand names in search terms. For example, if you're selling shoes, please don't include Nike or Adidas, right? If that's not your brand, please just don't include any brand at all. Yeah, and you shouldn't include any ASIN numbers in your search terms, right? Obviously, don't include any profanity or abusive or offensive terms. And again, no temporary or subjective claims because sellers rarely search for them, right? Violating these rules may result in your ASIN being suppressed, right? And action taken against your account, and we want to avoid that. All right, so last week, I have someone giving me a feedback through the survey form, asking me to talk about the buy box, right? I take my feedback very seriously, so I hope that this section answers your question. Okay, so for those that don't know what's a buy box, right? What you see on the screen now is what we call a buy box, right? Having this feature on your product listing page gives you the clearest call to action and the most direct way to win a sale on Amazon. Okay, so the buy box is actually an exclusive benefit awarded to the seller of a product that provides the best overall value to the customer. Okay, so the buy box actually needs to be continuously earned and won, right? It's not a one-off event. You may get it for 1 month, but subsequently you may not get it if you if you don't stay competitive, right? Right, so here are some do's and don'ts if you want to win the buy box. You should have a professional seller account, right? You will stand a higher chance to win the buy box, right? You should also be a good seller, right? Make sure that you ship on time, right? You respond to your customers on time, low defect rates, right? Fulfill your orders well, right? If you sell new items, it's likelier that you get the buy box as well. If you use SPA, the same. And some products actually are tagged as buy box eligible, right? You can check this in Seller Central. These above reasons are not exhaustible. Again, there's actually an algorithm that detects what makes it a good buyer, right? So that helps you to win the buy box. All right, so lastly, I want to talk about how registering your brand on Amazon Brand Registry gives you the access to exclusive tools to optimize your listings. Okay, so if you're already registered as a brand owner, here's how you can see the full suite of benefits given to you. You can go to the Brands tab in your Seller Central homepage, then click into All Brands Benefits. Okay, you will see a page like this where you can view all the benefits as a brand owner, right? There are a lot of benefits that come as a brand owner, like for example, sponsored brand ads, Amazon Live Creator, Vine, right? But today I want to focus on the A+ Content Manager. So what is the A+ Content Manager? Okay, imagine you're a buyer and then you scroll down to read through the product descriptions and you see this, right? On a different store selling the same product, you see this. Okay, so without the A+ Content Manager, you're limited to 2,000 characters and you cannot add any imagery or like photos or graphics to your content. Okay, so essentially with the A+ Content Manager, you're able to add images, large infographics like the one you see on the screen, right, and descriptive text throughout, right? So actually, according to a study conducted by Amazon, the average conversion rate increased by 5.6% when people use the A+ content description, right? So let's say your current conversion without the A+ Content Manager is around 10%, which means for every 100 people looking at the product, 10 people make the purchase, which is quite good actually, right? But if you switch to the A+ Content Manager, right, your new conversion rate will be 15.6%, which means for every 100 people, 5 to 6 more people will buy your product, which is even better. Okay, so earlier I've already touched on some of the benefits of ABR, right? Where you can access exclusive tools to help you to optimize your listings. So now let me bring you on how to get started with registering your brand on Amazon. Okay, so here are some of the benefits again of Amazon's brand registry, right? You have already seen how it can help you to build your business, right? With A+ content, I've already covered this. Stores Builder, I haven't have the time, but maybe next week, I mean the next session, if you'd like to listen to this a bit more, then you can let me know in the feedback, right? It can also help you to grow your brand, right? So for example, sponsored brands, right, helps customers to discover and engage with a brand as they research on Amazon through prominent and customizable cost per click ads. Okay, brand analytics here help you to make informed and strategic decisions with aggregated search terms, demographics, and other more powerful data, right? Under Protect, we have Transparency, which is a new item level tracing service that helps brand owners to protect their brand and customers from counterfeit, right? Essentially, it allows brands to associate each unit they manufacture with a unique code. Okay, and lastly, brand registry helps to protect intellectual property rights and create an accurate and trusted experience for customers on Amazon. Okay, it gives brand owner access to the tools that enable them to better represent their brand, right, and find and report violations if there's any. Okay, so if you have a registered or pending trademark, you may start enrolling into Amazon Brand Registry. Okay, you can sign in using your existing Seller Central credentials to ensure that your selling account is linked, and you'll be able to gain access to brand registry features and the benefits quicker. So here's the link and the QR code that will redirect you to the ABR webpage. All right, so what do you need to sign up for our ABR, right? the first thing you need is a clear picture of the brand on the product or packaging or both, right? The next one is a trademark registration number. But let's say if you're pending a trademark, right, you can actually have the application number ready. You should also have a list of examples of ASINs for your branded products, right? As well as the countries where your brand products are manufactured and distributed. And the last one, you should have the product categories of the brand available. Right, here are some of the common FAQs for ABR. I won't go into them in detail because I think I'm a little bit short on time. Okay, so the last item for today is getting started with FBA, which was also requested in the feedback survey. Right, I have a lot of people asking about FBA fees, so I'm going to cover them in this first slide here. Right, so the first one is the FBA fulfillment fees. Essentially, you can think of it as the fee that is being paid when when your item is being sent out from the fulfillment centers to your buyers in North America. It's the same here. So let's say if I'm from Yio Chu Kang, I want to send a product to Toa Payoh. Let's say if you're in Singapore, you will understand. Then there'll be a fee charged, right? So that's what we call the fulfillment fees. Right. The next one is the monthly inventory storage fees, right? You'll be charged on a daily average volume, right, in cubic feet, right? And there's also this FBA disposal order fees. So let's say if you no longer want to keep your products in the fulfillment centers, there's if you want to dispose it right there, right? You can pay a nominal fee to Amazon and they'll help you to dispose it, right? Because there's manpower involved. And lastly, there's this long-term storage fees, right? So when you keep your inventory for more than 365 days in the fulfillment centers, then there will be a long-term storage fees charge on top of your monthly inventory storage fees. All right, so I've already covered this FBA calculator earlier, but just for those that haven't seen this before, right? If you're wondering whether it's more profitable for you to fulfill on your own or use FBA, then you can check this FBA revenue calculator out, right? You can scan this QR code or use this link to access it, right? There are two ways you can calculate your profit margins, right? You can either search your product directly on the Amazon catalog using this search function, or you can define your product dimensions, right? So this is actually the newer version, this new interface for the revenue calculator. If you want to try a different version, you can try the old one, right? But personally, I feel the new one is is easier to understand and to navigate. All right. I would like to simplify steps to start with FBA in 6 steps, right? So last week, I've already covered registering as an Amazon seller as well as creating product listings. I don't think I have time to go through all of the rest today. So today, I will only cover the topic on how to prepare products to send to the Amazon fulfillment centers, right? I will cover creating a shipping plan for my next webinar, if you're interested to know about this. All right, so when it comes to preparing and labeling your product, you can either do it yourself or you can pay a nominal fee to ask Amazon to do it for you. Okay, so let's say if you choose to label your own products, right, you will need to prepare a label stock as well as a printer, right? And if you choose to prepare your own products, you can scan this QR code here to download FBA prep guide. Okay, so this is the FBA prep guide. It's actually quite comprehensive and it tells you what materials you need to prepare in order to prepare your products properly before you send it to the FBA fulfillment centers, right? So for example, let's say your product is fragile or it contains glass, right? You need to wrap it in bubble wrap or you place it inside a box. It should be sturdy enough to withstand a 3-foot drop onto hard surface without breaking. All right, so I think that's all for my session. Sorry if I overshot. I will pass my time on to Barry, right, from WorldFirst to continue the next part of our presentation. Barry, please.
Hi, thank you, Jess. Right, let me just share my screen. Right, can you see my screen? Okay, all right. So good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for your time. And also thank you, Amazon, for inviting WorldFirst to join this webinar as well. My name is Barry, and I'm from WorldFirst, looking after partnership. So just a quick background of WorldFirst, right? For those of you who have not heard about us before, WorldFirst is actually a payment service provider under the Amazon PSP program. All right, and we also extend our payment solution, right, in terms of a bank accounts to Amazon sellers, right, to be able to collect your Amazon stores sale proceeds, right, from Amazon easily, all right, and also in a very cost-effective manner. Right, and today I would like to share with you, right, on how our solution is able to optimize, your revenue from your sales proceeds on Amazon. Right, and also just before we start, right, I just want to highlight to you that that you will notice a QR code, at every slides on the top right-hand corner. Feel free to scan the QR code, to find out more about solution, as well as if you'd like to sign up for a WorldFirst account. All right, so the agenda of my sharing today, right, will be a quick introduction of the World account, right, for marketplace sellers, and also how much cost savings that we are able to deliver to you in comparison with other collection methods. And lastly, I will end off the presentation with a live demo of our World account online platform, right, to show you how easy it is to use our platform, right, to manage your funds, to view your balances, right, and also to perform transactions. A quick introduction or history about WorldFirst, right? Again, if you have not heard about us, WorldFirst was started in 2004, all right, back in the UK. We started out as providing remittance services to SMEs as well as marketplace sellers. And just want to highlight a couple of milestones to you, right? Upon we starting in 2004, we expanded the business globally, and in 2015 we gotten our Singapore license from the MES. Right, so this is the first milestone for us in Asia. At the same time, we also launched our World account payment solution. All right, so this is basically providing online marketplace sellers, right, the ability to collect their payments easily, right, from marketplace globally. Right, and lastly, the last milestone or the recent milestone is that we were acquired by Ant Financial Group, right, which owns Alipay. All right, and we are now a wholly owned subsidiary of Ant Group. So today, we have served over 250,000 customers globally, right? Both in the marketplace space as well as the B2B space. We have processed over 2 million transactions every year. And in terms of volume-wise, we have processed about more than $160 billion since our launch in 2004. And we have 500 employees, across 7 offices globally. Right, so let's jump straight into the payment solution, right? World account for the marketplace sellers. So essentially, right, this World account essentially have 3 very simple features, right, to help you as a marketplace sellers, right, or Amazon sellers to perform these 3 transactions, right? Collection of payment, right, managing your funds, at the same time paying your suppliers or vendors, or withdrawing your funds back into your local bank account. Right. So the first one, when it comes to collection, right, WorldFirst, is able to provide you with a local bank account, right, in the 10 currencies in the different country. Right. So you can see these are the 10 currencies that we're able to support, mainly US dollar, pounds, euro, Canadian dollar, and the rest of the currencies. Right. So if you're selling on Amazon US, right, we are able to provide you with a local US bank account, right, in the US, so that you are able to actually, withdraw your funds from Amazon very easily locally in the US as well, right? And because it's a local withdrawal, there is no fees or charges, when you withdraw your funds into WorldFirst account, right? So meaning that you are able to actually receive the full amount of your sales proceeds from Amazon, right, back into your WorldFirst account, right? So once you withdraw your funds into your World account, right, this is where you're able to manage your funds, right? You're able to monitor, your account balances, your account details. You are able to actually convert the funds, into other currencies if you need to pay your vendors, right? Or you can also use the same the funds that you collected in US dollar to make payment to your vendors, like for example, paying for the advertisement services, logistics services, and etc., or even VAT, right, in the currency that you collected, right? Or you can also transfer funds, between the 10 different currency accounts, right? All this can be done online, right, through our platform, and which I will show you a demo right after this presentation. And then lastly, you are able to, again, as I mentioned, use the funds to actually pay your vendors, VAT, right? Or you can also withdraw your funds back into your local account, right, whether it's in Singapore or Malaysia. So this is basically a visual diagram of how the World account works, right? So again, as I mentioned, number one, you're able to withdraw your payments from Amazon, right, into world account, right, in the 10 different currencies, right? So today you are selling on Amazon US, maybe a couple of months later you are selling on Amazon UK or Amazon EU, right? You are able to open up a pounds account or even a euro account easily through WorldFirst, right, without going through the application process all over again, right? So it's just a one-time off, setting up a WorldFirst account, right, and then you are able to set up the different currency account anytime you want, right? And then that's the first one. Number two, you're able to manage your funds again, viewing your balances, viewing your transactions in and out of your account, transferring funds between your different accounts, right? Or even adding new payee, right? Your vendors, right? So that you're able to make payment to your vendors, right? So number three, making payment to your vendors or even VAT, right? And then number four, if you are buying your product or sourcing your products from China, from this particular marketplace called 1688, you're able to use World account, right? The funds in World account to actually easily make payment to that marketplace in China without even having a bank account in China, right? And then lastly, you're able to withdraw your funds back into your local bank account. All right, so let's take a look at what is the cost comparison as well as the fees that that you incur using WorldFirst. Right, so very nominal fee because opening up account is free of charge, right? And we also do not charge any account maintenance fee, right? So there's no annual fee that you need to pay. You also do not need to maintain any balance, right, in the account, right? Basically, the moment you withdraw funds from Amazon, and if you like to use those funds to pay your suppliers or pay your vendors or withdraw it back to your own local bank account, you can do that, right? So you do not need to maintain any balance, right, in the World account. There is also no transfer amount limit as well, right? So if you need to collect and then pay, right, there is no limit amount. So as I mentioned, also when you receive funds into your currency account, right, it's also free of charge, right? So there is no fees that we charge to you, when you withdraw funds into World account, meaning that you are able to receive the full amount, from your sales proceed from Amazon, right? Lastly, the only fees that we charge, right, is when you need to do a foreign currency conversion, right? And our FX spread, right, is only up to 1%, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a comparison with other collection method to show you the cost savings that you actually get, by using World account. Right, so down here, what I actually have is a comparison between World account versus Amazon Currency Converter, ACCS, as well as overseas bank account that you open up by yourself, right? So if you look at the fees, right, at row 2, right, you can see that the WorldFirst FX margin or FX spread, right, is only up to 1%, right? And you can go lower depending on the volume, versus the ACCS FX margin of up to 1.5%, right? As well as the FX margin that's charged by an overseas bank account if you use them to collect your proceed and then send it back to your local account in your country. They will charge you a much higher fees, right? So and it's up to 3%. Right, so I hope that this can actually show you the cost savings, right, that you actually get by using the WorldFirst account to collect your payment from Amazon, and then withdraw it back to your bank account, right? At the same time, we also provide a local customer support as well, right? Through phone as well as email, right? And in your local timing as well, right? So it's easy to actually reach us for any support, right? At the same time, our turnaround time, in processing your payments is much faster as well, right? It's only up to 1 business day. So this is basically to kind of like give you a perspective of in terms of savings wise, how much savings you can actually get, right? So we actually use $10,000 US as a so-called illustration, right? So for every 10,000 withdrawal, right, you are able to actually save about $300 or $271 to be exact, right? And this is using Sing dollar as an example, right? So converting or withdrawing your US dollar proceed back to your Sing dollar account, right? And this is approximately 3%, right, of your sales proceed, right? So you actually by using WorldFirst, effectively you're able to actually save at least 3%. All right, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you a very quick demo, right, of the online platform, right? So you can actually see how easy it is to use the WorldFirst platform. So I'm going to switch my screen right now, so please bear with me for a while. Right, so what you're seeing here is the login page for the WorldFirst online platform, right? You'll be given a user ID as well as a password, right? When you log in, the system will ask you, oops, sorry. So when you log in, the system will ask you for another security code, right? This is for security purposes, all right? And we'll send a text SMS to your mobile phone so that you're able to key in the security code. Right. So once you log in, this is the landing page, right? Right from the landing page itself, right? Immediately you're able to view all the different currency account that you have opened up with WorldFirst, right? So it gives you a consolidated view of all the different currency accounts. At the same time, at a glance, you're able to tell, the account balances, right? This is a demo account, that's why you don't see much balances here, right? But you will be able to see your balances on all your accounts, right? So the demo account that we have created is for Singapore dollar account, right? So there is amount here, right? So basically you're able to tell the different balances, right? And then if you like to view, the transaction within the account itself, you basically click on view statement. All right, immediately you're able to see all the in and out transactions, right, from your Singapore dollar account, right, in this example. Right, and right at the top, you're also able to see the account details, right, the account name, the account number, right, and this is a unique account number for your Singapore dollar account, right? So every customer, every currency account come with a unique account number, right? So it means that we don't mix your funds with other clients' funds, right? At the same time, you'll also be able to see, and later on I will show you the bank that we actually work with, right, to provide this bank account to you, right? So you're able to see that, for example, in Singapore we work with Citibank as well as DBS, right? But in the US we work with Citibank US. So you're able to see that the account, right, is actually maintained by Citibank, right? It's actually a Citibank bank account number, right? So your funds are safe, and it's kept with top tier banks, right? Because we work with top tier banks. So from here, you're able to also switch between the different currency account. All right. So this is a Sing dollar account, right? So you're able to view other maybe US dollar account or other currency account. You can also set the date range, right, for your history search, and also download all the transactions into either PDF or Excel file. All right. I also want to show you, again, as I mentioned, you're able to use the funds from your World account to make payment. Right. So they will ask you which account you want to pay from, right? So I'll choose Sing dollar because that's the account that I have balance in. And then they will ask you to choose which payee you want to pay to. All right. So all these payee, if it's a new payee, you can easily add them later, which I will show you later. Right. If it is already an existing payee, you can just simply choose the payee name, right? Indicate certain reference information, right? And then you can continue. For example, this. Oops. Right, so you can indicate, and then you can choose and indicate the amount that you like to pay to. All right, so you can either choose you want to pay in Sing dollar or ringgit because this pay is in Malaysia, right? And then pending payment, you can also view some of the payment that is pending, right? That's because you actually set the value date on a certain date, right? On a future date, right? That's why it falls under the pending payment. Transfer is you are able to transfer funds between the different currency account, right? So for example, if you also sell on Amazon EU or Amazon UK, and you want to transfer the funds into your US dollar account, right? Because you're paying your vendors in US dollar, you can do so from here as well, right? So you choose which account you want to transfer from, right? And then which account you want to transfer to, right? It's that easy. And then Second last thing that I want to share with you is that so from here, currency accounts, right, is where you're able to view the detail of your account, right, including your account name, account number, all the SWIFT codes, right, even the bank that we work with, to provide you with that bank account, right. So for example, you can see here is Citibank, right. So you're able to see the different bank account details, right. And this is useful, right, because when you need to submit your bank account details, to Amazon, right, so that you can withdraw your funds from, you're able to actually come in here, get the information and input that into the Amazon system. And then lastly is beneficiary, which is a payee, right? So if you need to add new payee, right? For example, your vendor that you need to pay to, right? You can easily add their details and bank account information over here, right? So that once you set them up in the system, in moving forward, if you need to pay your payee or your vendors, you can easily just click on the vendor and then make payment from our system. Yeah, so I think those are the basics of the platform. Everything is quite simple and straightforward. I think that's about it. Right, so let's go back again to our, so let me just wrap it up. Sorry, Jess.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so very quick one. Our application process is also quite simple, right? This is the link that is provided here. Simply click on the link or scan a QR code, on the next page, on the next slide. And then once you're submitted and registered on our website, our customer service will reach out to you, to verify your account. And once your account is verified, and activated, you can simply start using the account to collect your payments. All right. Some testimonial from our users, right? You can see that they like our customer service as well as very low rates, right, in terms of the FX conversion, and also easy to use platform. All right. So I've come to the end of my presentation, right? And I just want to share with you one last thing is that we actually offer $50 US dollar bonus, right? When you sign up for a WorldFirst account, do indicate the promo code Amazon Webinar 0104, right, when you register, and either you can use this URL or you can also scan this QR code, right, when you sign up. Right, so please take note of the T&Cs, right? Is for the first 50 sign-ups, all right? And the condition is that you need to make your first transactions of 2,000 US dollar, right, before 31st of May. Right. All right, so that's all. Do feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, and thank you so much for your time.
Right, thank you, Barry. Right, I really learned a lot from your presentation as well. Right, so it's time for Q&A. I think we have 15 minutes for this. Since we have Barry with us, and it's not always that we have a guest speaker from WorldFirst, so I'm going to direct some of the questions that's been asked in the chat as well as the Q&A to you. Right, so the first one that we have is it compulsory to deposit an amount in the WorldFirst account first?
You don't have to, right? So once you open up the account, you don't have to deposit any funds, right? And you can leave it until you need to make your first withdrawal from Amazon.
Right, and I think there's some asking about what is the best way to transfer funds to China, right? I think this maybe is a bit irrelevant, so I'll leave this for now. I think they're asking about Alipay or WeChat, right? But they say that foreigners can't use that, right? Maybe can WorldFirst do that? Can you transfer funds to China using WorldFirst?
Right. So you are
Yeah.
able to actually make payment to your suppliers in China through WorldFirst. All right. So we do help customers to make supply payment to China.
I
And
see.
if, for example, if you are paying to the platform called 1688, that is already integrated into our platform, right? So that can be easily done online for our platform. But any other supply payment in China, yes, we're able to support that.
Right, and I think there's someone asking about the fees, right? I think because I think you mentioned something about the conversion fee, right? I think this person is asking you to clarify what do you mean by fees tied to a type of currency withdrawn?
All right. So the FX margin that I put in the slides, right, is when I mentioned for WorldFirst, our FX margin or spread is up to 1%. For ECCS is up to 1.5%. Those are when you quote an FX rate, right? For example, US dollar to Sing dollar, right? So basically, when you need to convert from US to Sing dollar, the bank will, or any money changer, will actually quote you, or this is the amount that you get, like for example, 1.36 Sing dollar, right, for every $1, right? So, but essentially, right, the money changer already factor in their profit, right, into into the FX rate already, right? So that is the profit margin that they factored in. So for WorldFirst, right, our profit margin is only up to 1%, right? And it can go lower depending on your volume.
I
Right?
see.
So I think so that is the fees that I'm referring to.
I see. I hope that answers the question, right, to the person that have asked this. I think there's one that asked how to register through Amazon account. I think the way that you can register for a WorldFirst account is through the QR code. Don't worry about that, right? We'll be sending the link to register for a WorldFirst account as well as some of the information in the follow-up email, right? So please do look out for an email after this webinar, right? Probably be sent to you latest next week, right? If you don't receive it, please do reach out to me, right? Through this email here, I'm going to send the chat. Right. So let me see what's the next question here. Okay, so I believe that some of the other payment methods, you require, there's no way for you to top up your account first, right? You need to wait for the first transfer into the account. So does WorldFirst works the same, or you can top up your account as per normal?
Yes. So WorldFirst allows you to top up the account through the 10 currency account that we provide to you, right? So if you're in Singapore and you like to top up from Singapore, if you recall, one of the 10 currency account is Singapore dollar account, right? So essentially you are able to top up funds into your Singapore dollar account, right? And then from there you can use it to either pay your suppliers, or any other overseas payment.
Understand, right? Let me see. Oh, someone's asking about how you can make payment. I think you have already showed that in your demo. It was quite descriptive. I understand very clearly from there.
Yep.
Okay. I think this question is directed to you as well. It says under the WorldFirst account, I see that you're able to link different marketplaces together. Does this mean I can also consolidate my payments on my own website with my Amazon marketplace? Yes, lah.
Yes, you
Okay,
can.
okay.
And in fact, if you would like to create a separate US dollar account, for example, or a separate account for your e-commerce website, yes, we are able to support that. So one account for Amazon collection, the other account is for e-commerce website. Yes.
Okay, right. And I think this is also for WorldFirst. They're asking if it's available in Indonesia rupiah.
In terms of withdrawal, yes. Right.
Okay.
So if you sell in Amazon US, right, and if you're from Indonesia, and you need to withdraw into rupiah, yes, we are able to pay into your rupiah account in Indonesia. Yes.
Okay. Okay, got it. Let me just check if there's any other more questions. Oh, Alex is asking if there's a minimum withdrawal amount.
There is no minimum withdrawal amount, right? But just want to mention here that if you withdraw anything below $500, there is a $10
transaction
withdrawal fee.
I see.
Yes, right. But anything above 500, there is no withdrawal fee.
Okay. And there are some questions in the Q&A as well. Mike is asking, must I set up an account with my company, or I can do that as an individual?
You can do that as an individual.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. If that's directed to WorldFirst, then yeah, you can set up as an individual as well. It's the same answer for Amazon, right? You can set up an account with your company or as an individual as well. Okay. Right. So I'm gonna just put this as answered. Okay. So Irene is asking, do we need to add the Amazon account to WorldFirst?
I think it's more on the other way around, right? So you need to update your WorldFirst account, bank account number into the Amazon platform.
Okay. Right. So I'll just put that as answered. Right. Please do keep your answers, your questions coming, right? Because we still have around 9 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So earlier, I've said that I take my feedback very seriously, right? As you've seen, I've covered some of the things that you guys have asked for, like buy box, FBA. So if you'd like to know more about other topics, right, please do provide your feedback. It's only 2 minutes of your time, I promise, right? 2 minutes of your time, and you let me know what other things you're interested to know more of, right? Of course, please do look at my part one webinar, right, to understand more about selling on Amazon, the basics, right, the ones I've covered, like GTN exemption, creating your listings, right, the 2 ways you can do it, as well as SIV processor, for example. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you will need to watch my part one. Otherwise, if you want to know more about the stuff that I've covered today in more in depth, please do drop your feedback so that I can prepare for our part 3. Okay, let me see. There are some coming in the chat. Okay. So I think someone is asking for the link. Give me 1 second. Let me just provide the link to you here in the chat box. Okay, I see a question to WorldFirst. Can WorldFirst make direct payment to 1668.com?
Yes,
no
yes,
idea
you
what's
can.
that. Okay.
Yes, you can. So feel free to reach out to us, and we'll guide you on how to make your payment to 1668.com.
Yeah. So we'll be also putting in WorldFirst contact in the follow-up email. So please do look out for that. Right. Haven't checked part 1. Right. 1 second here. Okay, so this is the things that I've covered for part 1. If you want to know more about them, you can just refer to this QR code here. Okay. And also, okay. I think someone is asking about, okay, so let's try to, yeah, let's try to focus more on questions that may be related to your selling on Amazon, because I believe that other attendees might want to know more about that as well. If you want to know more about, for example, 1668.com or eBay or Shopify, please do reach out to Barry himself, right? So that you can make this more conducive. Norman, right? As for ABR best practices, please do review the recording, right? We'll be sending this recording very soon. Yeah, I only have 6 minutes and I want to focus on the Q&A because we don't have much time, and it's not always that we have Barry with us, right? To get your questions answered live. Okay. Let me see what else I can do. Right. So as for part 3, it's coming in 2 weeks, right? So it's on the 14th of April. So if you want to know more about part 3, right? I haven't decided on the curriculum of the part 3, but if you want to know more, like for example, I need to know more about FBA, I want to know more about, let's say, the ones I'm going to cover, right? Please let me know. Then I can structure accordingly. Okay, so if account was listed to be banned or deleted, what kind of violation of rules is critical that breaches? Maybe we can try to rephrase your question. And is this directed to Amazon or is this directed to WorldFirst? Alex, yeah, you can, okay, to Amazon, right? Violation of rules is critical. Do you mean what may cause your account to be deactivated? If that's the case, as covered earlier, even for during registration, right? If you repeatedly submit the wrong documents multiple times, right, even before we can review it, right, that may cause permanent deactivation. Or let's say if basically if you're a bad seller, right? Because obviously we wouldn't want bad sellers to continue to proliferate and sell bad products or bad experience to customers on Amazon, right? Let's say you don't fulfill orders on time, or you sell defect products, right? Then yeah, that may cause an action to be taken against your account. And if it's on a regular basis, then that may have that may cause you to have an account deactivation issue. Let me have a look at the Q&A. Oh, okay. I think this is to Barry. Irene is asking, I have an account with WorldFirst, but I wasn't active. Okay, and what is store management? Are you referring to Amazon, or is this to WorldFirst, or is this a statement? Maybe you can clarify that a bit, Irene. Okay, anyway, while we wait for the clarifications, if you see in the chat, right, there are some of the groups that's being sent by Able, right? Please do join, right, so that you can be in a community of other sellers like yourself, right? Okay, two of us. Can you briefly talk about ways to transfer Singapore dollars and USD into WorldFirst account and their fees, which is the most economical way, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you need to transfer, and if you're in Singapore, if you need to transfer Singapore dollar, the most effective way or most economic way is to actually do local transfer, right? Either via PayNow or local fast transfer. Oh, and US dollar as well, or you can even deposit a check if you like to. How about Indonesia? Indonesia in could you clarify a little bit more on for Indonesia? Are you looking into top up or withdrawal? I think that is to Galaxy A52.
Okay, I think Irene has clarified her question. She's saying that WorldFirst account, there is a tab in the home page. Oh, actually, I'm not very sure what you're asking. Maybe what we can do is that, Irene, you can direct your questions to Barry, right? I'll be sending the follow-up email, right? There'll be a contact for to WorldFirst, right? Then you can submit your inquiries there. Yeah, if you cannot phrase your questions now properly, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We have about 2 minutes left, right? And I see some questions, right, from Jason saying that Amazon received stock and I set 14 days for products to go live. Okay, so all of these, if you want to know more about FBA in detail, please look out for my next webinar, or please look out for the FBA guide, right? That's going to be sent to your email, right? Okay. 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 So I think it's saying top up and withdrawal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So very quickly, right, for top up from Indonesia, because we don't have a rupiah local account, right? So if and our 10 currency account doesn't include rupiah. So I guess the nearest is either you send your funds to the US dollar account or the Singapore dollar account, right? That is for top up, and of course for withdrawal, that is fine because when you withdraw, you basically add your Indonesia bank account into the platform, as I mentioned to you just now, as a payee, right, as a beneficiary, so that anytime you need to withdraw, you just send it pay to that payee account, which is your own account in Indonesia, right? So that's how you do withdrawal. That applies to even Singapore sellers or Malaysia sellers. You add your local account as a payee or beneficiary, so that anytime you want to withdraw, you just basically pay back into your account.
Right. Okay, so it's 12 p.m. Oh, okay, I see a lot more questions regarding FBA. Unfortunately, we don't have time to cover them. We'll talk a little bit more in our next session, right? Please do look out for emails from us, right? Webinars like this are useful for new sellers, right? So yeah, please do look out for our emails and look out for our follow-up email as well. Thank you everyone for taking the time to attend this webinar, right? And I'll see you guys hopefully in our last session.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good
Okay,
weekend.
thank you so much, Barry, for taking the time
Thank you,
today.
guys. Thank you.
Right.